Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing just fine, my friend. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Well, it's another week, it's another episode, and we watched something else that was pretty good. Shockingly, I know. I have some thoughts, but overall, I think for you and I, this was a positive watch. We are
Yeah,
talking
I
about
believe
the
so.
latest Star Wars show because they are deathly afraid of making a film for theaters. We're talking about the Ahsoka show. This is Dave. This is made by Dave Filoni. Shocker, the guy who made Clone Wars show, created Ahsoka from start. She now has her own show. This is set. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. This is set after like Mando season 3, I think.
I believe so, yes.
Well, I feel it would kind of have to be based on how Ahsoka ended up at the end of the season, but yeah. So she is off on a quest to do. Well, actually, her main quest is to stop Thrawn from coming back. Grand Admiral Thrawn from Rebels, and as a secondary goal, she later finds out is, oh, I can also try and bring Ezra back. So she goes on the quest. Mike, I'll start with you since you're more positive on the show than I am. Can you please explain to me why I'm wrong?
Sure.
Oh,
You see, but the thing is, you're not entirely wrong. I
oh,
only say that to bust your balls. So obviously, this show you're gonna like it a lot more if you've watched pretty much Rebels. Even if you haven't seen all of Rebels, but you kind of get the gist of what the story is, who those characters are, then this show is definitely a little bit more for you. But listen, there was a lot of great things about this show. One, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka killed it again. Even though I do feel her portrayal was a little bit too stiff in the beginning because it doesn't really track from like the end of Rebels to kind of where she is now. Like, well, what the fuck happened in those years after the Empire fell that made her more of a hermit than she was? Because she was definitely a little bit more lighthearted still. But who knows? Maybe facing Vader at the end kind of shifted gears for her a little bit. Right off the bat, lightsaber combat was a lot better than what we've seen recently. I'm sorry, Kenobi show. There was no space Jesus scenes where they're just throwing fucking mountains at each other. So that was kind of nice to see.
yeah,
I think my biggest critique about this show is they didn't give Balin more screen time.
yeah, yeah. But I think well, one, you could look at it two ways. One, clearly, this is set
He's
for a
not the
second
main villain.
season. He's technically not the main villain. Thrawn is the big bad. But then also hindsight 2020, we didn't know. Again, Ray Stevenson would sadly pass away right before the show came out. Clearly, if he was still alive, he would be a major player in season 2. And to make it even worse, he is getting all this praise. Everyone online I see loves his performance. He'd be getting all this praise, and he's not here to see it.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
that was kind of heartbreaking. That like obviously people knew him. He's a great TV actor and all that. This was a big role for him. He killed it. Everyone loves it, and then they go on and find out he just passed away.
Yeah.
Kind of sad. And I do not blame Lucasfilm for having a challenge now of having to recast him because, to be honest, the way they teased the end of the show, you can't just write out that storyline.
Yeah, like what? So obviously, full spoiler ahead here. So him standing on top of the statue with the father and brother, if you don't know who those are, essentially the father of the Force and his child, if you will. So the father is like this almighty Force being, separated his light and dark side. The light went to his daughter, the dark side went to his brother. So, brother, as they called him, was the Grand Master Sith, if you will. He is all dark side energy, all day, every day. Standing on top of the statue of them, which was a nice Easter egg, but where does that story now go? They can't just kind of drop that, like, hey, here's this giant Easter egg, but yeah, fuck off, we're not touching that again.
Well, I'm glad you teed this up for me because I'll go into
But
actually one of my main issues. Actually, no, sorry, let me correct myself. The main issue I have with this show is your explanation of those statues. I learned more about those statues from you just explaining it than I ever did from watching 6 hours of Ahsoka. Now,
Well,
I
yes, because
understand
that was an Easter egg.
it's not an easy.
Easter.
I don't consider it an Easter egg if it's going to be pivoting to a storyline in season two.
Listen, it's no, it's an Easter egg for fans
Okay, all right.
that have followed everything. If you don't follow it, it does obviously doesn't mean anything to you, and you need
Yeah,
some explanation.
no, but
But that,
that's my issue. I like my issue is the
but
way they
that's like getting pissed at us seeing Thanos at the end of what was it, the first Avengers, being fine. I'll do this myself in the regular one, being like, who the fuck is that?
no, hold on. No, this is different. Hold on. No, hold on. So he's standing on one of the statues, right, in the center, right? I would assume then the father, right? That's the father
Yeah,
he's standing on. They frame it to that it is something significant. It is something significant to the viewer. And my issue is, and full context, I have not seen basically any of Rebels. I have seen clips of a couple of fights, the Ahsoka Darth Vader fight, all that, the Obi-Wan Darth Maul fight. I don't know about this now. I know the Mortis stuff was also from Clone Wars. I haven't seen the Mortis stuff from Clone Wars. My issue is, as a whole with the show, one of its greatest strengths is that if you are a fan of Dave Filoni's work in Star Wars, this is just more of that.
yes,
To a T. Like, if you were a diehard Rebels fan, congratulations, you got Rebels season 5 out of this. That's what this is, for good and for worse.
yeah.
So, if you are a casual Star Wars viewer who just watches the movies, you watch Mandalorian, maybe you watch Kenobi, you don't read the books, you don't read the comics, you haven't watched the animated shows, you are so lost the further you go into the show. So let's take away the statues. How about the place? I'm getting this wrong, but what is the place where Anakin and Ahsoka meet?
Ooh, I'm forgetting the actual name of it,
Because I know
but
that
that
appears
is
in Rebels,
it
and that
does.
that is something significant, but it never shows up anywhere else. So for the first time viewer, you're like, well, how's Anakin coming back? He doesn't look like a Force ghost. And it's like, then he's gone again. Like, I understand, like, the general, like, oh, this is inside her head. Like, but I say, no, you can't go into, oh, it's inside her vision or head
It,
because the
it,
kid heard the fight.
it yeah, it is, but it isn't. It was basically a world between worlds kind of deal.
So is it like in the Force? Is it in the
Yes,
Force?
yes, and the reason she can actually go about that is because the Clone Wars episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
But see, that's the thing. Now you're pulling up a specific Star Wars episode that allows her to do this. And then my only reference from this is I know how she gets out of the Darth Vader fight because of going through there. But like
correct. Because
casual
Ezra
per
pulled her through there.
exactly, but a casual person's like, where is this place? We've never seen it before, and they don't reference it throughout the rest of the show. They don't talk about it.
No,
Like, hey, where were you? Oh, I saw my
yeah,
master for one final lesson. Where? I don't know.
just don't worry
Like,
about it. If you don't
like
know, you don't know.
I don't need everything to be monologued to me, but
Sounds like you do.
I'm here for the casual fans here, Mike. I'm here for the casual fans, and they're gonna be lost. I'm lost to some degree. Like Sabine and Ahsoka's relationship. I'm like, oh, okay, stuff went bad somewhere. The relationship
Yeah,
soured. I don't know exactly what happened.
listen, I watched some of Rebels and I don't remember any of that.
I'm missing context here.
Like, I'll 100% have to go back and rewatch it because I was like, when the fuck did Sabine be Force sensitive? When did that happen? So I guess I missed a whole arc
Not
or
not only
something.
that, but like started to be an apprentice. Like she was an
Yeah,
apprentice at one point, and then Ahsoka stopped the training after. Like they mentioned the bombing of Mandalore, but like, okay, like like obviously if you watched Rebels all the way through, that might have more impact to you about how she eventually became an apprentice and then they stopped. This is the first time I'm seeing Sabine in more than like a minute YouTube clip, so I don't know, like, oh, she wasn't supposed to be force sensitive. I don't know.
yeah. I'm not saying she's not supposed to be. I just don't remember. Um,
Also, she's kind of fuck up throughout the entire show. I don't know if that's how she's like in Rebels, but my God,
yeah, and she didn't get too far in her training considering she couldn't even Force push.
yeah,
But then
uh,
again, in that generation, Luke couldn't fucking actually use the Force for a long time.
yeah. But I don't know, because like we'll, we'll talk about some positives like in a few minutes because there are positives. Like I do not want to be like coming off like the show is a piece of shit. It's not.
All right,
But
let's just get it out of your system. Negative
I'm
Nancy.
getting out of my system because like Dave Filoni's got to be careful with how he does this because he's doing some good work.
He's got a plan, Tyler.
But I
You
feel
seen the
like
cowboy hat?
he's starting to slowly sniff his own farts.
Okay.
Like I get it. He made Clone Wars. I don't know if he made Rebels or not. I know Ahsoka, is his main character and all that. But if you have to think, like, I would hope someone at Lucasfilm's telling them, "Hey, we need to get the general audience to still watch this stuff." And if the plan is a Mando season 4, Ahsoka 2, and then a big movie in theaters where you have the Mando characters all team up against Thrawn, you need to get them interested. And Ahsoka's getting them confused. Not that it's a bad show, but they're getting confused.
Yeah,
Now look,
because
I would love to see the numbers on Disney Plus. Does like people watching Ahsoka, does the viewing of Rebels shoot straight up?
I could see that kind of happening.
Like, if so, that's great. But I feel like Disney should have had something more prepared for this. Like, hey, you might want to watch a couple episodes first, or watch this preview before watching Ahsoka. I don't know, something.
You mean kind of like the beginning of the Kenobi show, where they reminded you of what happened in the first three movies?
Yeah, I think that would have been helpful because like
See,
a
but
lot of people are lost here.
I get it. I get it. But to be fair, right, to the mm, obviously casual viewers, they don't know who the fuck Ahsoka is anyway.
All right, so if we're counting these,
If you,
if we have a baseline for the casual fan, they would know of Ahsoka as, oh, she's the Jedi from Mandalorian. That's
correct.
it. Yeah, which I'm not saying is much. It's not. But if we're
No,
going from the
because if
casual fan, they're going from, oh, I know her from Mandalorian. I will watch her show. Then they see all this happen and are like, what the hell?
yeah, which
Like,
I do get.
but see, I'm torn on this because on the other side, I do kind of like I respect the balls on the man to like just go all in. Like, no, if you watched all my stuff, you are
You're gonna
being
get it.
rewarded. You are going to get
Yeah.
more of it. You want Anakin in the Clone Wars outfit in live action? I got you.
But speaking of that, Filoni did a lot more than just kind of give us Anakin in Clone Wars outfit, right? He showed us exactly what Darth Vader would have been like if he didn't get fucked up on Mustafar.
Yeah.
And let's jump right into the bull in the china shop here. Hayden still got it, and it's just proof. If you had given him a good script, we would have actually gotten a more likable character.
See, one of the main jobs of the director is like kind of being the manager on set and like directing. George Lucas, as much as he came up with some great ideas, not a great director, gotta be honest.
No,
And
not a
you can
great
see
script
that,
writer.
like you can see that in like Attack of Clones and his directing. Like you make this like love sick puppy with Padme like he's a chalkboard in terms of emoting, but like clearly you can see here it's like he's got the skills. They were just
That he
wasted.
does. But I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition he deserved because episode three he did do a lot better, I think.
Oh no,
For
episode 3 is like from is one of his best performances, and it's just like all Kenobi and this Ahsoka is showing us like, oh, we could have had that the entire time for everything, not just episode 3.
so again, we kind of talk about the let's talk about the action in general for the Ahsoka show. I'd say it's pretty top tier action as far
It
as
is top
Star
tier
Wars.
action. It's better than Kenobi action.
Oh yeah,
Um,
better than Boba Fett.
yes, yes.
Low bar, I get
What
it.
I was pleasantly surprised about is that there was actually quite a lot of lightsaber on lightsaber fights.
Yes,
I was thinking, Disney Plus show, they only do a little bit here and there, but most episodes there was at least one quick lightsaber fight, if not more, which I appreciated, and the choreography was pretty good as well.
that it was.
I think the action was good. I think also a lot of the acting was good as well. Like
Yeah,
Ahsoka comes off as wooden and all that, but clearly they're honing the point like, she's static, wooden, till she gets the final lesson with Anakin, and then she's more of her old self. Like clearly that's a deliberate choice. Obviously, Ray Stevenson killed it in his role, and really everyone else was good. There's no issues with
Yeah,
the acting.
let's dive into Ray Stevenson's character really quick. Right? So Balin was a former Jedi in the Clone
Yep.
Wars that we've never heard of before. Fine, there was hundreds of Jedi at that time. He's no longer a Jedi. He's more of a dark Force user at this point, but he's still kind of training. I'm forgetting his apprentice's name. Her
Uh,
in
Shin.
sure in the Jedi arts because she had the Padawan braid.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
he still cares about the rankings of the order and going through those processes. Granted, that's what he knows, so he's going to teach how he knows it.
I mean, look, he even says it himself in the show. He misses the idea of it, not the
Yeah,
truth. So he's taken their ideals. He's just implementing it in his own way.
correct, because he wants to create a better version of it,
Mm-hmm.
possibly where there is no light and there is no dark. And even when they were first introduced, it was very reminiscent of Star Wars Episode 1, where Qui Gon and Obi Wan are on a ship and they're there to kind of talk things out. No, they're there to fuck shit up. And they did it.
To be fair to them, they didn't resort to violence until they absolutely had to.
Yeah, they didn't draw first blood.
No. Yeah, they were great. Lore wise, this kind of ties into all the Disney Plus shows. They really are honing the point. The New Republic was really set up to fail at how incompetent they are.
Yeah,
Like 10, 20 years from now, there's going to be a whole new generation that watches the movies in order in the middle between three, sorry, in the middle of six and say seven. Ideally, they will watch a lot of these Disney Plus shows. They will see, New Republic isn't that good. You'll watch seven. You'll see them get blown up. It's like, yeah, that tracks. That kind of makes sense.
it does.
Considering how they just kind of ignored Thrawn, it's like, yeah, I could see them ignoring the First Order.
Yeah.
So I was just light touches like that I liked. I think we should talk about the main villain. The main reason we have, one of the main reasons the show exists, is to bring Thrawn back.
Yes.
What did you think of him?
I thought he was decent. Again, he was the main villain, but a secondary at the same time because he wasn't really in the show until a little bit more than halfway through, right?
Yeah, he's there for
And
like a third of it.
he's there to literally just get off fucking Shipwreck Island, essentially. So he didn't really do too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, like Mickelson showed that Thrawn, he's not the guy to get his hands dirty, but he will think 20 steps ahead of everyone.
Which, from what I've heard, that's how he's like in the books. That's how he's like in Rebels.
Yes.
My only issue with Thrawn was like, and this isn't as much of an issue for me as compared to my main issue, and that's kind of because I would assume future seasons and the movie would expand upon this. But they really tried to hone the point in the first half of the show. Can't let Thrawn come back. Absolutely cannot. Even if Ezra has to stay there. Too bad. Can't come back.
Yeah.
They didn't really give me a reason as to see why he is so much of a threat. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a threat, but based on what I saw in the other galaxy, yes, he's very smart. He's a great tactician, and he'd be a good adversary when he gets back. But like, I'm not sensing the sense of dread from him. Like, I'm not sensing pure dread. Like, oh wow, things are gonna get a lot worse.
Yeah, I get that.
Because I would assume at this point now, the New Republic will be like, so yeah, Ezra is back. Turns out he's still alive. Oh yeah, it also turns out he says Thrawn is also alive and he's here. So maybe we should pay attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, this is why I'm hoping like if Mando season 4 or Ahsoka season 2 shows how quickly he gets his forces in shape, starts taking planets, I'm like, all right, proper threat. So it's a slight ding on this show, but I'm going to assume they expand on it.
Yeah.
Also, they do have a shit ton of coffins from the Night Sisters, which I'm very curious about what they are.
The Night Sisters?
No, all the coffins they were moving into the Star Destroyer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming an undead army, considering how quick they turned the dead stormtroopers into them.
Yeah, and who knew? Dead stormtroopers are a lot more menacing than live ones.
Yeah, turns out.
They're better too. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, look, This show has a lot of positives. Like it's a really good show. I guess my only other complaint about the show is I feel like Ahsoka's like a bystander in her own show.
Yeah,
Like she starts off the show by finding the map, right? So she's the protagonist. She actually moves the plot forward. But ever since she goes to meet Sabine, it's like she's reacting to everything. Oh, Sabine's gonna get attacked by, Shin. She's got to go there. Then she has to bring Sabine with her, and then Sabine goes with you know, Balin, and Shin is like, I gotta follow her, so I gotta go to the west. Like she just reacts to everything. So it's like as a season arc, besides her learning to be a bit more happy and more of a Jedi in terms of mood, I don't really know what else she learned. Like there wasn't a lot of growth for a show that's literally called Ahsoka,
yeah. I kind of understand what you're getting at there. I do.
which is a shame because Rosario Dawson, I think, is really good in the role as Ahsoka. She's clearly put in the work with the lightsaber skills. She's good at acting. Like it's all there. It's just plot wise, like Filoni, I feel like should have given her more.
Yeah, because again, this was more world building than just her show,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of the issue Disney as a whole has been getting into lately.
Like you're telling me no philosophy debate between her and Balin? Really? They both had their issues with the Order.
This is true.
Like, like one of their interactions, there should have been a little back and forth talking about that.
Yeah, but then she would be one to actually talk more.
She has experience with it.
Yeah,
That's the thing. She left the Order. I don't know. It's like that was kind of a missed opportunity there. I would have loved that. I love a good debate.
yeah. And I think their ideals are really not so apart. It's just how they both perceive things or
Mhm.
how they go about it is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all in all, I'd say it's a solid show. It does have its missteps. You definitely do need to watch some form of Rebels and Clone Wars to fully appreciate everything that they kind of brought to the table. But
But
if we were
would
to,
you recommend it?
well, yeah, that's a given. Well, let's go past that because I think you would also recommend it, unless I'm wrong.
No, I'll recommend it. Yeah, I'll recommend it.
Okay. Well, look at you being nice. Now, if we were to rank it with the rest of the Star Wars shows that we have gotten, minus Andor, because neither of us have seen Andor, how would you put this on the ranking, Tyler?
Well, we're doing a ranking. Clearly, last place and fourth is Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
I think that's quite obvious. Third place is Kenobi.
Okay.
And I would say second place is Ahsoka, solid second, and first place Mandalorian. And I'm not doing like, oh well, there's 3 seasons of Mando and 1 season of Ahsoka. In my mind, personally,
It's best
as
season versus best season, essentially.
exactly, Ahsoka in my mind is better than season 2 and 3 of Mando, but it's not as good as season 1 of Mando. So just
Yeah.
gotta split the difference.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I'm going to have to fully agree with your list.
Tell
Same
me,
exact
Book of
order.
Boba Fett's not like your number two?
No,
Oh,
definitely isn't.
okay.
Did not want to just watch more Morrison stand in a bacta tank for a couple episodes. It was not ideal. But as always, these are just our thoughts about Ahsoka. What we want to know, what did you think about the show? Do you know anything of what's going on in it? Is it making you want to watch Rebels or rewatch Rebels and the Clone Wars? If so, feel free to let us know at Entertainment Expansion. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. As always, thank you for listening.